Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook platforms. I'm Tyrone Clay 213 on TikTok and Mr. Clay on YouTube. We're coming from Deuteronomy chapter 28, the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy. Yes. And let us pray. Oh, most holy Sanini Nanini, even Tata and Zambi in those languages, the Great Spirit. We thank you for all that you've done. We thank you for your mercy. We thank you for leading us up even to this point. We pray for the leaders of the different nations that many of those that are listening and watching represent. We ask you to deal with their minds and their hearts, that they lead not their people astray. Prick their hearts, prick their minds. Give them courage against those who would try to neo-colonize their countries, and that even the senates and all the people that lead them in different ways would lead them in a way that is right before you. Yes, because we know many of our people, even the Bantu, are in Africa, are in the continent, in the birthplace of all mankind. And we thank you that this thing has come about, that you have given us a sigh of relief. At least it looks like a sigh. But that we keep it going by the righteousness that we live before you. And we thank you. Yes. Yes. Let's get in here. We're in Deuteronomy chapter 28. 28th chapter of Deuteronomy. Yes, I have one thing to say. Yes, we got Acob, we got America. I adjure you to really investigate the significance of these two continents. Now, one thing about it, if you look at Acob and you look at Tamari, you're going to find out that these two places, they fit together. If you look at, take the world map and fit it back to one whole earth. I mean, it's very intriguing to even look at it and say, what happened? Yes, what happened? But the fact is that we look at it and we see that no pride of either one justifies anything. But that we all become one. Whether we've been in America before even the colonizations and even the slave trade, or whether we came in on the slave trade, we're still symbiotes. We still are a people of earth, that we need, and we need each other, and we have to thrive, and we have to depend on each other to take care of ourselves, because the others have separated themselves and have caused themselves to be more and lifted up themselves in their pride. And these are the same ones that's going to surround even Jerusalem. These are the ones that's going to surround even Israel. Yes, Israel is in Africa, whether you want to say it up there in what they call the upper part or the lower part. It's there. Where it is, that's for you to find out and make your decision. But the fact is, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. I'm going to stop it for the TikTok audience. I'm just going to say peace, and then we'll take that up on another day until we finish it up. And for those of you on Facebook and TikTok, we're going to go all the way through all the verses of this chapter. Now in verse 1, and it shall come to pass that thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the I am thy God, even Sanini Nainini, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day. In other words, his commandments, not Moses' commandments. His commandments which Moses are commanding from him this day. Think of it. That the I am thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Why are you, Acob, America? Why you are set as the tail? Even in America, they invite those who have came later, before the colonizer, but then they say they are aboriginal, but there were aboriginals from that look like those that come from the African continent. But the fact is that why are you the tail? Let's keep going. Blessed shalt thou be, he says, now, and all these blessings shall come on thee, in verse 2, and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the I am thy God. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body. Your baby's going to be healthy. You're not going to have babies dying of SIDS and all kind of stuff. He said, blessed. Yes, he's saying blessed. The fruit of the ground and the fruit of thy cattle and the increase of thy kind. In other words, you're not going to have to give your cattle antibiotics. You're not going to have to give them anything. He said, blessed, because I'm going to bless you as you bless him, as it is written in his commandments. He said, if you obey these commandments, blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. In other words, your refrigerator going to be full. Your cupboard's going to be full. Wherever you have to store things, it's going to be full. Blessed. But why are you poor? Why do you not have the things that you have need of daily? To some that's poor, to some that's I got what I need. That's not poor. That's being fulfilled. He said, blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in and when thou goest out. In other words, whether you travel, whether you go here, if you obey my commandments, which I command you these days through the prophet Moses, he said, blessed are you. Blessed. He said, and the I am shall cause thy enemy to rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. In other words, he's saying the I am is going to prove himself before you. Think about it. You African countries over there in the Sahel, you didn't have to do that much fighting. You didn't have to do that much fighting. Think about it. God works through circumstance. God works through different things. And if God had to work directly through a miracle, he will do so. But you didn't have to do much fighting, so you should be rejoicing before the Sanini Nanini, even Tata and Zambi. You need to be rejoicing. See, and he says now, he shall cause thy enemy to rise up against thee. Now, God's going to do this, to be smitten before thy face. In other words, he's going to defeat them before your face if you do that which is right before him. It's not becoming a punk. It's not turning your other cheek, but it's obeying his commandments. He said, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, toe for toe, whatever you want to call it. That is what God says. He said, you ain't got to be no punk. You fight. He said, and they shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. Hey, you got a God on your side better than any nuclear bomb. I'm telling you that now. Listen to me, Sahel, South Africa, and all the rest of you. Listen, even us in the United States. We have more. God is more than those that can be against us. They know this. I'm not talking about the common man. I'm talking about those in high places. Do you not know they listen to the Bible? They read it. But upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thy hands unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which the I am thy God giveth thee. Look at you, North and South America. Look at the inventions. They wouldn't even be the place where they are to even improve on those inventions, to have these roads and traffic lights and all these refrigerators and all this technology if it wasn't for you. Come on here. And God just give you a glimpse of what you can do. And the I am shall establish thee a holy place unto himself, and he shall, as he has sworn unto you, and he shall keep, if in verse 9, thou shalt keep the commandments of the I am thy God and walk in his ways. Yes. Walk in his ways. He said, and all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the I am, and they shall be afraid of thee, not just by your fringes, not just by your beards, not because you're circumcised on your penis, not because you have all these things, these sonoras or whatever candle lit. Your righteousness, keeping the commandments of the Most High. Nobody running over you. When one fight, we all fight. And with that, for my TikTok, peace. Now, welcome again, TikTok viewers. Again, He said, and all the people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the I am, and they shall be afraid of thee, in verse 10. He said, and the I am shall make thee plenteous in goods, in the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy ground, and in the land which the I am swear unto thy fathers to give thee. Now notice, in the book of Judges, what happened? Israel was the lowest of the lowest. Philistines would come against them all the time, and God had to deliver them. They cried unto God, and God delivered them out of their distress. But then when Solomon came after David, he didn't have to borrow nothing. People were giving him things. This is God's example of what could happen if we walk righteously before him and keep his laws, commandments vehemently, even to the point where we delete those who would pollute the land and cause the land to be an abhorrence to the Almighty. Yes. Now I'm talking about these ones that walk out of their agenda, these ones who worship all kind of idols, these ones that call themselves all kind of other gods and stuff. When we begin to do that for our government, even the government following even the Most High, that you govern your people after the Most High. And it says that I am shall make thee the head. Let's go to verse 12. I skipped a little bit. And the I am shall open thee his good treasures, the heaven, to give the rain and unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thy hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. Why are you borrowing in America? Why are you borrowing in the Sahel, in all parts of Africa? Why are you borrowing? Because your life is not reflecting that which God has commanded you. That's why you're borrowing. You have caused this man who's mixed with Esau to be called Lord and Savior. You have caused this man who was the tail at one time, even according to Anubantu and Gert Mueller, that you have called him clients and reds, and you've made him the head. Now he rules you and slaves you. Now, verse 12. He said, let's continue with verse 11. He said, in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, and in the land which the I am swear unto thy fathers to give thee. He swore, you have gold, silver, diamonds, everything under your feet. But yet you have holes in your pockets. You have nothing because you will not sacrifice unto the Most High. Jesus didn't sacrifice. He didn't even tell you to sacrifice unto the Most High. He is not a sacrifice. You have the sacrifice. Your goats, your lamb, your sheep, your oxen. Yes. Find out how God tell you to do this thing and do it. And all you think about is your stomach. If you give that to God, which he told you to give to him, then you're going to find out that God is going to bless that even to multiply. You ain't got to have no temple. You just ask God where he wants you to do it at. That's all you got to do. Now, in verse 12, he says, the I am shall open unto you his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the works of thy hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. No, you're going to be rich. And the I am shall make thee the head and not the tail. All right, here we go again. The head and not the tail. These are the blessings of the Most High. In other words, you're going to have banks, supermarkets, all kind of crops, all kind of technology. You won't even have to borrow from China or America or nobody. They will come borrowing from you. You have it all. All you have to do is cultivate it. You don't need nobody. Why are you scared? When you got the whole coast of heaven to teach you, to show you, to direct your hands and your brain. You don't need nobody. Come on here. All you need is God. Even Sanini Nanini Tata and Zambi. Yes, you need him. Now we're in verse 13. He said, and the I am shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only. He said, now when you walk according to my commandments, you shall be above all the nations of the world only. This is what he's saying. And thou shalt not be beneath if thou shalt hearken unto the commandments of the I am thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day to the right or to the left, or to go after other gods to serve him. You've gone after to be God. You've gone after to the I God. You've gone out to the E God. You done went after every man's God except for your own. You've painted your faces. You tattooed your bodies. You've made markings and cuttings in your body. And you call yourself, oh, this is the way of the ancestors. That's the way of the pagan inhabitants there before you got there. That's what it is. And you following other nations. That's what it is. Because God doesn't tell you to mark your body or paint your face. No, he doesn't. He tells you what to wear. He doesn't want you come to him all marked up and scarred and bruised. You can't even enter into the congregation with all that stuff on you. Stop letting your children mark themselves up, and do not mark your children up. Whether it be cuttings and markings, and then make them pass through the fire, even as they did back in those days. This is why you are on the bottom. And he's giving you an example now. He's giving you a chance, last call. Now, he said, don't go after them and serve them. He said, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of thy God to observe, to do all this commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, then all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Oh, hear, O Bantu, hear. All that God have told you. Hear. Yes, what he says now. He says, cursed if you do not do these things. Shalt thou be in the city, cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shalt thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land. In other words, you're not going to be able to grow nothing. Another person going to grow it. Cursed the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. Verse 19, cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. And verse 20, and the I am shall send thee, even Sanini Nainini shall send upon thee cursings, trouble, which is vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thy hands to do for unto do until thou be destroyed. What is happening? Why were you in chains? You shouldn't have been in chains. They should have been in chains. Why were you wearing ragged clothes, swimming around in a nasty, pissy ditch, digging for red rock? Why are your children having to work instead of studying in school to be professors and innovators and all these things? Cursed. Turn to the I am, even Sanini Nainini. He said, the I am shall send upon thee cursings, vexation, rebuke, and all that thou settest thy hands unto for to do until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me. You went after other nations. Even those of you in America, you went after other nations. You call yourself with the paint on your face, the feathers and all this other stuff. God didn't ask you to do that. No, he did not. The I am shall make the pestilence cleave to thee until thou hast consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest and possess it. God ain't no play, man. God is not a play. God don't play with your little ones, and he don't play with your women, and he ain't going to play with your men. He's rough according to our standards. And we should be rough like God when it comes to doing what he says do. Whether we have to delete or whatever, the land is yours. You can do what you want with it. Don't even think about those of the heathen who call themselves, if they come in your land and they bring that old fake spirit, put them out, delete them, make them run. He said, with thee, with consumption and with a fever and with inflammation and with an extreme burning and with the sword and with blasting and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee till thou perish. And with that, for the TikTok, I'm going to say peace. Welcome again, those of you on TikTok. I'm in verse 23. And thy heaven is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thy feet shall be iron. He's talking about slavery. Yes. Yeah. Woo. Glory to the Most High Yah. Even Tata and Zambi, Sanini Nainini. Yes. Yes, I mean Heya, which means I am. Yes. And the I am shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. Why is your Sahara desert? Why is Jerusalem, even that Jerusalem that you call around the area of South Africa all the way up toward, should I say, Namibia, Zanzibar, whatever. Why is it desolate? Because you have forsaken the I am your God, even Sanini Nainini. From heaven it shall be come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. You allow your young ones to commit fornication and your men to turn into women and your women into men. And you say this is the way. It's the way of the West and the heathen. They have spirits and powerful heathens. They have powerful spirits. And they are there to draw you away, to test you continually until you take a stand. Because God did not say that this thing, in the New Testament, they said it right. They said it right. They said, hey, resist the devil. Number one, you can't resist the devil with a shoo-a-ba-ba-ba-ha. You can't do that. You can't resist the devil with a shout. You can't resist the devil by all these other means that the Christians tells you to do. But how do you do it? Obey his commandments. Submit thyself to God and he will flee. Even the Tennessee even showed you that example. He's not talking to see. They've deceived you all the way around. You think you got to shake. They're getting you from both ends, just like they work even in your lands from both ends, causing the chaos and then coming up with a solution. Come on here. You better sit up there and think. No matter how much it hurt you, you better submit yourself to Sanini Nainini, even through obeying of what he says, even what your ancestors agreed to. You have to realize thousands of years have passed. Your ancestors have caused themselves to be subject unto the pagans and the colonizers and all these other things. They painted their faces. They're trying to fit in with everybody else. But yet, they only confuse themselves and bring themselves to desolation. Yes. And thy carcass shall be meat unto the fowls of the air and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Let me go back up to 25. And the I am shall cause thee to be smitten for thy enemies, and thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and thou shalt be removed unto all kingdoms of the earth. This is what he says. And thy carcass shall be meat for all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Oh, the devastation that you've been through. You've been through all kind of things, kings of Western world. You've been through these people who have divided up your countries. You even the Pope and all these people who divided your countries among the English and all these others, the Spanish and the Portuguese. That's why America is divided and messed up as it is. It was a thriving place. Now it's barely can grow a piece of corn because you have parasites that have come in and taken over, and all they want to do is greed. You can't even have your health right for their greed. He said, and thy carcass shall be meat for the fowls of the air and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. And the I am will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. How did you get AIDS? They knew it was the old type blood that could receive AIDS even more so than any other blood on earth. And who most have the old type blood? The black man. Come on here. Now they're trying to develop something else against you. It's time to turn to the Most High. This is the war. Now they sit up there, they say, let us send our effeminates into your country that you may not have babies. Let us take out their wombs that you might not have babies so we can make God a liar. Sinini Nanini, a liar. This spirit, he's a good one. He looks like a bull the way they make him. He looks like a goat. But this spirit is so powerful. He's been given a mandate to turn you away. Yes, he has. And the I am shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart, mental illness, fearfulness. All these things have come upon you, acting like little boys and little girls. Now you decide to see. You're starting to become men and women. And thou shalt grope in noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. What did he do? Ain't nobody saving you. Ain't nobody coming at you. You're going to plant the vineyard, they're going to get it. You're going to plant cotton, you're going to give it to them for $1 for a ton. Oh, you just don't know how messed up this thing is. He said, you betrothed a wife. What did they do? Not only in Africa, but even here, they raped, and then you got these little half-witted babies. Then they called you, they still come back at you talking about one-drop rule when they were the ones sitting up there impregnating the women. Get on here. Now, he said, thou betrothed a wife, and another shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house. How many people in America are put under black villages, paved over by I-95, flooded by the river and lakes in Georgia and different places in Tennessee? How many? This has come upon you, and you can't see it for looking. Here you is, I want to be like Massa. I want to be like Massa. I want to have my hair so straight. I want to walk like a picket pig. But anyway, God says, no, obey my commandments, and these things shall go away. They're going to go away. Even in the life that you live now. It's just not a far-fetched thing as far as God is concerned. There's going to come a combination of time where he's going to have to go against these people by himself. But the fact is, now you can do something about it. Resist these devils. Submit yourself to the commandments of God and do them. That's what it is. That's what he's talking about. The heathen got ways of turning that New Testament around to make it seem like they got the hands on salvation. Come on here. What he says, thou shalt plant a vineyard. Here they is drinking your grapes. You growing grapes there on the continent, and you growing grapes here in United States and South America and all these things, and they're drinking it, getting drunk. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. What's happening? You don't even have a sacrifice for the I am. You can't take a sliced steak and then call yourself going to put it on an altar and burn it. They probably arrest you for that too, and then eat the steak. Thine ass shall be violently taken away before thy face, and thou shalt not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. This is what has happened to most of Africa and America. Those of you who have come, most of you are down in South America, Central America. Many of you have been taken from South Carolina and taken over to Africa, then brought back. And you can't see for looking. He says, now, come on here. He says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail for longing for them. And they re-educated them to the point where they can confuse you, make you thinking that you are a Negro when you are not a Negro. Making you think that you are this and that, re-educating you through what? Churches. Christianity did that. Take your children and put them in this education system which does not even teach your children a trade anymore to make money and start businesses. Oh, they know what they're doing. Come on here. They hate you. This spirit, this beast spirit, he has given a hatred. He comes upon him with his devils. And it's like what the Bible says in Revelation, like frogs, these spirits are cleaving unto them. They don't even know why they hate you. Okay, come on here now. That ain't for you to sit up there and a demon-possessed person. If you go in Mexico, a lot of times they will beat the hell out of them, literally. They would beat him, that demon come out, because he can't stand to be buffeted. No, he can't. And with that, I'm going to say peace. Tick-tock. And we're back. In verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. This is what he's saying. You're going to be crushed. And that is happening every day. I mean, from the riches of you. Look at Bill Cosby. They made up a lie to crush him. Look at your football players. Look at those who become millionaires just to entertain them, and they crush them because they don't walk the way they want them to walk. This is what God is saying. Can you not hear? So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see, and you can't do a thing about it. Because they have the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines. Yes. So shalt thou be mad for the sight of thine eyes. In verse 35. And the I am shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with sore botch, and thou cannot be healed from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. So many things, so many diseases. And the I am shall bring thee and thy king, which thou hast set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shall not serve other gods. There thou shalt serve other gods. Babylon, Persia, Gracia. Then you come and serve other gods called Jesus. And thou shalt become an astonishing, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whether the I am shall lead thee. And thou shalt carry much seed out unto the field, and thou shalt gather but little in. The locust shall consume it. And thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, and thou shalt neither drink of wine nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout the coast, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with oil, for thy olive trees cast his fruit. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go in captivity. Whoredom. Man stealing because they want their inner parts. Want their hearts, their livers, to give to themselves, to make themselves live and healthy. Your melanin. To help things. Do you know in the pancreas, it has a certain amount of melanin in it? Yes, the things they won't tell you. No, they won't tell you. You would kind of think that this melanin was used for more than making the skin dark. Now, we're talking about human trafficking. That's what he's talking about. They're still doing that today. And all thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume, and thy stranger that within thee shall get up above thee. This is what happened to Medina. This is what happened in Palestine. These people were below you. They were below you. But your pride and your paganism and following other nations have caused them to come above you. And he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be head, and thou shalt be the tail. Look at you. You're borrowing for high interest rates, and then they're tricking you, making you pay more than what you, not only in Africa, but they're making you pay the same thing in America, from South to North America. Yes, it's going on. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. Now, we're on a path of destruction. When you leave when God, you have mandated, your ancestors have said, we will obey all that the Lord said. And then they did not teach the children. And the children, they only tell them bits and pieces. Then the children start turning against the Most High. The children start going according to the heathen and all these things, the tongue kissing, the sexual acts, the effeminacy, all the animals and all this other stuff they're doing. Yes, strutting their bodies every which way. Yes, and sexual pleasure for sexual entertainment. He said, ye shall lend to thee, and moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and pursue thee till they overtake thee, till thou art destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Sanini Ninini thy God, to keep his commandments and his statute where he command thee. See, this ain't no 400 years. This is now. Time to turn. He only took that 400-year thing off of you, but it's still there as long as they can keep you to sin. Have you not read how they know if you keep sinning, they will prosper? You don't know that. You don't know that. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder and for upon thy seed forever. Yes, because thou servest not the I am, even Sanini Ninini, with the God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Stop judging each other. Teach each other. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the I am shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. God is not playing here. He wasn't playing. We can see it plain as day. And the I am shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Here you is knowing the Bantu language, and now you have to learn English. My God, have mercy upon us. Thou shalt not regard the person of old, nor show favor unto the young. Yes, look how you're doing. Chicago, New York, you're talking about the young. Even you know the curse is on you when women lead you and children are your oppressor. Man. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which thou shalt not leave thee, neither corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all the land. And he shall besiege thee in thy gates throughout the land, which the I am thy God giveth thee, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body. You're going to eat flesh. Well, if this was a curse, why Jesus say you all sit out there, this is my, that is the lies bunch of the world. No, he did not say that. Sadini Nini did not even give him those instructions, not even to Masindas. He didn't give that to him. No, he didn't. Now, which the I am thy God have given thee in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thy enemies shall distress thee. You're distressed every day. Some of you are so distressed that you're sitting up there, you're going mental. You run from the United States to Africa. You run from Africa to the United States. Don't you know both of them are Egypt? You're running from Egypt to Egypt, bondage to bondage. And you don't even read your Bible, and then you're going to tell somebody, oh, the Bible ain't right. It's a different translation. You haven't read nothing. He said, his eye shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. In other words, this is why you cannot have unity until we begin to start to do the commandments of the Most High. We can have unity. Now, so that a man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom. And in other words, he's talking about covetousness, desires, those evil desires to want those things that are not his or yours, of his children which he shall leave, so that he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children to whom he eat, because he hath nothing left in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in all thy gates. The tender and the delicate woman among you, which should not adventure to set the sole her fruit upon the ground of the delicateness and the tender of her eye, shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, toward her son and toward her daughter. Why do you think you all on the internet talking about, black man ain't no good? Then you turn around and say men cheat. Then the man turns around and say women cheat. And your eye is evil, always suspecting. Deuteronomy 28:56. And toward her young, that one cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for ye shall eat them for want of all things secretly. Siege, in the siege, straightness wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in the gate. In other words, he's saying that you're going to get to the point where you're going to eat each other. You're going to eat your own children. And this has happened, even in Solomon's time. Now, if thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the I am, Sanini Nainini, thy God, and with TikTok peace. Welcome back, TikTok, and we are in verse 59. And then the I am will make thy plagues wonderful. That don't mean they're going to be good. Your plagues are, you got AIDS, gonorrhea, syphilis, all these things. And the plagues of thy seed, SIDS, and all these other things, and even great plagues. I'm talking about, what's that other one? They're talking about the one that causes boils on you, and all these other plagues of long continuance, sore sickness of long. This is not just because it's a plague, it's because of your sin. When you say sin, you have sinned. You go back to commandments and see what that sin is. You cannot just say sin because you feel it's a sin. God is not a feeling. God is commandment. Stop listening to these Christians and those who sold out onto this fake gospel, saying that, hey, I feel you've sinned. Ain't no feeling. You go back to that word and find out if you sin or not. Then you bring it to the I am and you discontinue that sin. You resist the devil by submitting yourself, even obedience to the commandments of the Most High, and he will flee. That's what he's saying. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt. Oh, my. When thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave to thee. Boils and all kind of sickness. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the I am bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And it's steadily destroying us because we are so stubborn and stiff-necked on the continent of Africa, all the way from North and South America, even into Europe. Stiff-necked, still following the heathen, regardless if it costs your life. Greater is he that can take after you are dead and cast your soul into torment along with it. Man can't do no more after death. And it shall come to pass as the I am rejoiced over you to do good. God rejoiced over you when you did good. When you said, all the Lord said to do, we will do. That's what you said, didn't you? That's what your ancestor said. Yeah, your ancestor said, we do that. Now you say my ancestor said, paint my face and go follow after all these gods. And some of you in Nigeria calling these things to float in the air. Your stuff can't work on me. And it came to pass, and it shall come to pass as the I am rejoiced over you to do good and to multiply you, so the I am will rejoice over you to destroy you. And, oh, my. He said, God be glad to destroy you. God will be glad to get rid of you. Because you're stubborn and stiff-necked. You want to cleave to those things of these spirits. It shouldn't be a hassle to experience the Spirit of God. It should be a joy and a rejoicing. Look at the people of old. Look at David when the Spirit of God came upon him, how he danced before the covenant, even that was put into the ark of the testimony. And how that even all the kings rejoiced before the prophets. And how even Miriam, when the Spirit of God came upon her, she began to beat the tremble. And Moses sang a song because he was rejoicing before the Most High. That's how the Spirit of God works. Now, he said, now it come to pass to destroy you and to bring you to nothing. You're nothing right now. They want to come against you. They want to cause you to, they want the things and the lands that you have cast them out. But you need to cast them completely out, along with their ways that are not of Sanini Nanini, even of Tatan Zambi. Cast them all the way out until you get straight yourselves, and then you pay it all attention when they come in, that they bring not evil into your land. That's the way you do it, old leader. You're going to go back into this thing. Yes, you are. You cannot hearken unto the people when it comes to righteousness. You cannot hearken unto the people. Those who would come against you are those who wants to destroy you. They're led by a devil. He says, and ye shall be plucked from off the land whether thou goest to possess it. And the I am shall scatter thee among all the people from one end of the earth to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods. That's what he's saying. Those of you that call yourself Niji in the Aboriginal of South America, those of you who are scattered all throughout Africa, those of you who are all throughout Egypt, you're serving other gods, including that Jesus. Yes, you are. You are serving him. You're being paganistic in everything, and you don't want to read the Bible. You listen to these preachers who are led by that bee devil too. I'm not going to say his name. The Bible says enough. Now, the I am scattered thee among all people from one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. That wooden Jesus, that stone Mary. Oh, with her little bitty baby, they done stole from some other culture. Don't you know Egypt was in the United States and also South America, and then they went to Congo, and then they worked their way down into Egypt? For this reason, God raised them up, that he might show himself strong in them. But yet you have vanished away from knowing that strength of the mighty, Almighty. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease. There's no ease for you in America. There's no ease for you in Africa. There's no ease for you nowhere. They that shall the sole of thy feet have rest, but the I am shall give thee there a trembling heart, failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. Now, even as a nation, this can happen to you. As an individual, as you give your life to the Most High, as you obey his commandments and meditate on his commandments and his statutes and his ordinances day and night, that you might not sin against him. If you have an opportunity to sacrifice before the Most High, to do it, that your sins might be forgiven. I ain't talking about what you think is a sin, what God say is a sin. That's sin. Transgression against the law. That's what it is. That's what it is. Syndici say the same thing. That's true. Now in the morning thou shalt say, would it be were even, and at the evening thou shalt say, would to God it were morning, for the fear of thy heart wherewith thou shalt fear, for the sight of thy eyes which thou shalt see. And the I am shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Yes, that's what he did. Trickle by trickle. He brought you to Mary. That's Egypt. The United States is Egypt. They hide it, but that's what it is. You better start doing your due diligence. With ships, by the way thereof I spake to thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there thou shalt be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Later on, you had to buy yourself. And with that, choose the Lord your God, even Sanini Nanini Tata and Zambi, even that great spirit. Turn from your wicked ways and from your animal worships and all these things. You respect the eagle, you respect this, you respect that. Turn from those wicked ways. God didn't tell you to respect nothing but him, to worship nothing but him. He didn't tell you to mark your body for the dead, neither for to remember. You're marking your body for the dead. I put my father up there, but you're marking it for the dead. Stop making excuses for yourself. Submit yourself to God. Resist this devil who comes against your mind by obeying the commandments. That's what he's talking about. And with that, I'm going to say, as you repent and turn from your evil ways, you will have peace.